Let's do some introductions. Marci, if you want to lead.
I'm Marci Fradkin. I'm the Director of International Outreach and Admissions. So my role is a little weird. I assist Ryan with recruitment and outreach for grad, and I do recruitment and admissions for undergrad. So, we overlap in some of our roles. I've been to over 75 countries. I've been to every country I think we have here today. So I've been to Nigeria, I've been to France, I've been to Pakistan, I've been to India. Did I miss a country? I don't know. So I think of the countries I saw, that I've been to every one of those countries. And I've helped students with visa interviews a lot. So that's where we want to make sure you're successful, and just answer any questions you guys got about Valpo. Thank you.
Andrew?
Yeah, so I'm Andrew Knox. I work in the International Programs Office. So the International Programs Office starts to connect with you after you've been admitted. So after you've been admitted, we actually make your I-20 or your DS-2019. That's your immigration document, and we send that to you. But our connection with you doesn't stop there. I would say that starts there. That's the bare minimum. So after you come to Valpo, and when you're getting ready to come to Valpo, we provide you with a lot of guidance, a lot of help that hopefully can make your journey to Valpo, and when you're here at Valpo, successful. So I would say that we're kind of like a bridge. So we provide as much help as we can, but we also are a bridge for you to many helpful resources around campus. And we also really love the cultural side of things. So food events, different cultural festivals. We really love to have all the cultures here at Valpo. So I lived in China and Japan in the past. I grew up in Japan. My parents worked there. And then after college, I went to China and I taught English there. So, but I love food and cultures from all over the world.
And my name is Ryan Segali. I'm the Director of Graduate Enrollment Operations. So for the graduate students here, I oversee the admission operation and probably reviewed some of your applications, maybe have communicated with you already. My goal here is to help all of our prospective graduate students get the information they need, pass their visa interviews, show up on campus, have a great educational experience. And very thrilled to be here. I'm glad to be with such great company here, Andrew and Marci. This is kind of the core of our international team on campus. And you guys do great work, both offices. Especially love all the cultural events that Office of International Programs puts together. So, and thank you all for showing up. Really glad to see everybody. Greetings, Taniyath, Johan Vishnu, Toyi, Muhammad, Rajwinder, Lawrence, and everybody else on the call. So let's go ahead and move on to our agenda. So we're going to cover a few things today. We're going to start with COVID-19 update because I know that's important to everybody. There's a lot of questions about how things are progressing here in the United States, in Indiana, and Valparaiso, and at Valparaiso University. So we're going to cover that. We're going to talk a little bit about why Valpo, because as prospective international students, you should all have been admitted by now. But we want to cover, more about what do you need to know to make that journey here, because you're still in the process. You're still thinking about things. There's still a lot of things that need to happen between now and the point of time when you would enroll in classes. And especially if you're going to pass your visa interview, this is probably going to be a question you're going to face. So you need to have a good answer ready for why you want to make that jump, why you want to make that leap to study at Valpo. We'll talk about preparing for your visa interview. We have some pretty good experts here on the call, Andrew and Marci. Marci's got a ton of experience with consulates and visa interviews. And we're going to talk about arrival details. Andrew can go into some information about things you should know ahead of arriving, because that's going to be a big step for you. Jumping on the flight, getting into the country can be a little scary if you haven't traveled abroad before. So we'll cover some information related to that. We'll talk a little bit about orientation. that's kind of the final step. So once you get here and you're ready to start classes, you've gone all that journey, then orientation is one of these last things you do before you actually get into your courses. You're going to get important information about becoming a student, what it's like to be a student at Valpo, and you're going to accomplish some things at different orientations. So you might have orientation with the graduate school or with undergrad. You might have orientation with the Office of International Programs, different purposes, but all designed to orient you to the experience, right? We'll go over a little bit about registration, and we'll have a Q&A at the end. So let's start with the COVID-19 update. So there's 32 current active cases on campus, 239 total in isolation, quarantine, 109 total active cases since August 10. These are very recent updated numbers. I believe I pulled them since yesterday. And we have a website too, valpo.edu/looking forward. So if you're interested in the most recent up-to-date information, that's the website you're going to go to. Marci.
And I just so you guys know, the scene setter here, we are having an on-campus experience this fall. So that means, undergrad, we have students in the dorms, graduate students, and undergrad students. Your classes are a mixture of in-person, hybrid, and online. So this is not just, because we are interacting with each other. We do have rules, on campus that you have to be 6 feet away from a student or a staff member from each other, unless it's your roommate. And if you're outside your dorm room or even in the community, masks are required. So, we've been managing this very well, but there are rules, and we are having an on-campus experience. And we're managing it pretty well because of our smaller size. And I just wanted to state that. So that's the scene setter behind this, and that we are helping all these students, and there's services, and you guys get health insurance. So it's nerve-wracking, but it's, I think, very well managed at Valparaiso. And some other schools, they have completely shut down, but we are, we're almost at the end of the semester and we're moving into final week.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the context and put these numbers in context too. Valparaiso University is a campus with over 3,000 students. We have a committee on campus that is monitoring this situation, that's implementing protocols to make sure that the experience is safe for all of our students. And in light of that, when you look at the cases that we have, we've been extremely careful. And that is really what's guiding Valparaiso University's, practices regarding COVID-19. So the committee's watching very carefully the number of cases. We're tracking everything. Everybody on campus has been encouraged to download an app to their phone. So they're actually reporting data to the university in real time. Every day, people are looking at it and making policy recommendations based on what the data looks like. So you might be familiar, there is a little bit of a spike going on in the United States right now. So the campus has recently made the decision to move to online modalities for the rest of the semester. And this is something that as prospective new students, you might experience come spring. So when you get here, you might have questions, am I going to be in person? Is it going to be online? And the answer is kind of hard to give you right now because it's going to depend on what the situation is at the time. We're not going to make random blanket judgments without data as a university. So we're trying to be very agile in our process to respond to what the situation is currently. So come January, and we have a big gap between the end of classes in November and finals and the start of classes in January. That's designed to give people time to go to their holidays over the Christmas break, have holidays with family, and have a nice lead-in time to the spring semester. So with that lead-in time, people will have enough time to, see if they caught it, if they experience symptoms, and enough time, hopefully, to recover before classes begin again. And people, as they experience symptoms, are going to be reporting things in to us. So the active cases are people who are confirmed, right? And people who are in isolation and quarantine, that's people who maybe were exposed. It's not sure that they're definitely have it, but out of abundance of caution, we have people quarantining. We have people, as international students, you're going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks prior to arrival. And that's an important thing to remember too. So prior
to starting class.
Or prior to starting.
If you're in the dorms, you would be in the dorms. Or if you're living off campus, you would do it in your apartment.
Right. So prior to starting class, and preferably before you even go to orientation, right, you're going to want to hit that 14-day quarantine. Although our orientations might even be virtual. I think the graduate school will be doing a virtual one. Andrew, I don't know if OIP has made any decisions yet about spring.
I think that we will definitely have virtual sessions. Now, we might have some more interactive activities in person, but we will have virtual sessions. Yeah.
Right. So we're going to be tailoring the experience for you students as you arrive on campus, and you can expect to have very safe experience. We're going to be looking out for you, and hopefully a great academic experience. And hopefully too, we're going to get over this in 2021. So everybody, fingers crossed on that.
Pfizer, Pfizer, Pfizer.
Right.
It's my mantra right now.
Yeah. But anyway, the bottom line is that the university is very intensely monitoring the situation, and we're going to make sure that the experience is as safe as possible for our students, balancing that need for safety with the need to have a great academic experience.
And we've been very creative. Like we, a lot of you guys know Diwali's coming up this weekend. So we're having a gigantic Diwali celebration. We're still going to have our Miss and Mr. Diwali competition and performances. And actually, we're doing it all virtual. And we have little gift bags we're sending home. Students can come over to Andrew's office. Make sure you save one for me, Andrew.
Yeah.
Gift bags so they can celebrate Diwali virtually from their house. So, or their dorm room. So, and a lot of things have been a mixture of online and in person. We had a Saudi night, we did that. But yeah, we have Diwali coming up, and we have graduation, international graduation. And both of them, just been moved online. We are being creative. We're rolling with what's happening in the world.
Yeah, the Diwali snacks came yesterday and really are very good. It's a nice box of sweets and spicy snacks. So my wife and I we're enjoying one of them. But yeah, I think I've been very, very pleased, very encouraged by the way that Valpo has handled the pandemic in the past 4 months since classes started. You might hear some schools that shut down very quickly after the start of the semester. And I want to be, we need to be humble too, right? I mean, we don't know what can happen from day to day. But Valpo is 1 week away from the end of the semester, and I think we're going to finish it. We're doing well. And so I've been very pleased with the care that people are taking, students and everyone else.
Before we move on, does anyone have any questions about this part right now?
Yeah.
So we're basically missing we canceled 2 days of in-person class. They've been moved online, and finals are online. Otherwise, we pretty much have done the semester, made it through the semester. We started a little early, but our safety is our first thing for all our students and staff. And then your education is our second priority. It's very important, your education, but safety is number one, right? Does anybody have any questions about COVID? Because we try to be transparent.
Yeah.
Any of you guys are nervous? If any of you guys are doing the MSIT, there's always that start at home option as well. That if you want to do 1 or 2 semesters at home first for the Masters of IT, that is still an option.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any questions? Then let's move it along.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about why Valpo. And this is something that we could go on forever, so we'll try to keep it a little abbreviated here. But there's a whole lot of things as far as Valpo goes. We always start with location. Valpo is right next to one of the major metropolitan areas in the country, Chicago. But we have enough distance from Chicago to where I think you get a great Midwest America experience. Valpo is a nice little small city in Northwest Indiana. It's a very safe city. It has a lovely downtown, and there's a lot to do around here. Lots of shops, lots of shopping centers, different options for entertainment, which in the COVID crisis, you might find your mileage varies a little bit, but Indiana has been taking pretty good steps. There is a mask mandate in effect across the state. So if you go into a public place, you'll have to wear a mask, of course, but restaurants are still open. There's still lots of things to do. So that's a big one, right?
Lots of good coffee shops.
Lots of good coffee shops. I mean, basically every time you turn a corner, you get a coffee shop somewhere.
They have tea too.
Not just Starbucks. There's lots of great little coffee shops here. Right next to us, we got a place called Little Coffee Cabin. We love. It's a regional coffee shop.
Yeah, I think that the Valpo is such a cool place, and I'm not just saying that because I work at Valpo, but Valpo is a very safe community. Uh, if you Google like safety for the city, or what would you Google, like
Safest cities in
safe
Indiana,
cities in Indiana, or safe
right?
cities in the U.S., you will see that Valpo is a very, very safe town. I mean, seriously, go ahead, Google it. It's a very, very safe area. But Valpo is also very, very close to some very big cities, or one very big city, and a lot of metropolitan area where in those areas you can get whatever kind of food you want. So my wife and I went to a Japanese store recently, and when the COVID situation is passes, or before it was here, we would go to the Indian Street down in Chicago a lot.
Devon Street.
Yeah, Devon Street, and there's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's really, really good, that we went to in the Chicago suburbs.
Just 10 miles, or just 10 miles away is a Middle Eastern grocery store, and several Middle Eastern restaurants.
Yeah. So some universities in the U.S., even if they're very big universities, they're way out in the middle of nowhere, basically. But Valpo, even though we're out from the city, we're close to a lot of things that would be attractive, and yet we're safe and very, very much of a small town feel too. So it's a really neat environment.
And let's talk a little bit about the campus too, because you can see the background of this slide. And Valpo is a large campus, 350 plus acres, I believe, and lots of lovely buildings on campus. The Center for the Arts, which contains, what is the name of the museum? The Broward Museum of Art. We have the Union, which is a massive building with a rotunda. We have the Christopher Center Library, which is a 3 or 4 story library, and lots of great resources on campus, right? There's a theater on campus. There's all kinds of great buildings and resources that you'll have access to. And the Union is one of the places where you'll probably meet Andrew if we're in person, right? At the Gandhi Martin Luther King Center.
Gandhi King Center, yeah.
Gandhi King Center. The Career Center is at the Union. And so the campus is a very large campus. I think a lot of students are probably going to be surprised when they get here and they see how big it is. There's a lot of universities you might go to. There's a few buildings here and there depending upon the university, but Valpo is just one of these places that's kind of big and sprawling.
So let's talk about, the career service is something that's very American. A lot of other countries do not have career services, in my experience. I've studied abroad in 2 other countries, and I've lived in 3 other countries. And I don't think any of them had career services. So the career service is a really cool office. It's free of charge. Like a lot of our services, it's included in your tuition and fees. And the career service helps you find jobs on campus. It helps you find internships, and it helps you find jobs after graduation. And you can even use it after graduation. They also, maybe you don't know how to write an American style resume. Maybe you've never had a job interview, and maybe if you've had a job interview, you haven't had a job interview in the American style. So the career service is there. You don't wait to the right before graduation to use it. You start using it right away to gain skills to join the workforce. And that's something really important. We look at our success through our students' eyes. How successful are you guys in finding jobs or finding internships or going on for a higher degree if that's your choice? So the career service is really there to help you, support you, and help you even find a job on campus. So they have a website, a program called Handshake, and it helps with jobs on campus and internships. They also host career fairs, job fairs, at least twice a year. Actually, it's more like 3 or 4 times a year for on-campus jobs and off-campus jobs. So they're really there to help you connect and find your future job or find your job on campus. And there's tons of jobs on campus. And as an international student, you guys are allowed to work up to 20 hours a week on campus. Some of my students have 3 jobs on campus, but still, they can only work 20 hours a week. That's an immigration rule. And so that, it's not enough to support yourself, but it will definitely help out. And they're all over campus. Some of them might be in your field, but some of them might be just like job in the cafeteria.
But there's opportunities there.
Yeah.
And speaking of affordability, value for quality, I think Valpo is very competitive when it comes to its tuition. We have scholarships at the undergraduate and graduate level. So we offer a lot as far as the value of the experience. And let's talk about the experience that you're going to get as a Valpo student. And this may differ from your expectations in a big way. That's that when you go to Valpo, we don't have huge lecture halls and huge class sizes. On average, most of our classes are under 20 students, I want to say.
Yes.
So when you go to Valpo, a university like Valpo, a private liberal arts college, a big part of what you want is the experience, and that's getting hands-on attention from your professors. You're going to be taught by professors. You're going to interact with them regularly. Many cases, they may even be your advisors. So as a student, you're going to get all this hands-on attention, and they're going to be very interested in your development as a student with your outcome as a student. This is a big reason why people choose Valpo over other universities, because at another university, you might sit in a big lecture hall, hundreds of students. You might be taught by a teaching assistant or TA. You might, have very minimal interactions with your professor, but Valpo is different. With our small class sizes, we intend to have all the students have a very personalized experience, an experience that will speak to your strengths as a student, that will help you overcome your weaknesses as a student academically, if you have any, which most of us do, to be honest. So at Valpo, you get this hands-on experience that will help you grow. And that's a big part of why you want to go to university too, right? You want to grow as a person, you want to grow as a student, you want to develop skills that will help with your career, but you also want to become a well-rounded individual. And that's what Valpo offers. The private liberal arts experience is very centered on that. Becoming a well-rounded individual, becoming somebody who's very conversant in different things, but also prepared for the job world. So that is a big part of why people want to pick Valpo over other universities. And we hear it from our students all the time. Their great experiences at Valpo, how they love Valpo. A lot of them, when they graduate, they want to come back in some capacity. Maybe they want to work at Valpo. Maybe the undergrads want to start a graduate program at Valpo. And we have a lot of undergrads actually go on to graduate studies at Valpo just because they love being here. They love the studies. They love the professors. They love the staff. And that's where they want to be. Of course, we have to kick them out at some point, but hopefully we kick them out and they have a nice degree and a job opportunity waiting for them.
So if you want to hear stories straight from the mouths of the people that were at Valpo before, you can go to this link that I'm putting in the chat here. So just in the past couple of weeks, I did 2 panels with about, I think it was supposed to be 10. I think there were nine international alumni that graduated from Valpo anywhere between 1995 or so and like 2017. So if you go to that link, you will see 2 recordings of panels that I did with those 2 groups, and basically they talked about their experience at Valpo and what they're doing now. And some of them work at Amazon, some of them are directors at universities here in the U.S., and just really neat to see their experience and what they're doing now. So all former international students.
Yeah. And there's a lot of diversity on campus too. I'm showing this slide here that has a list of some of our associations on campus, student associations on campus. So we have students from all corners of the world, lots of students from China, Africa, Asia, students from Europe. So as an international student at Valpo, of course, you want to be exposed to different perspectives. It's one of the reasons why you go abroad as an international student. It's becoming more cosmopolitan as an individual. It's learning more about other cultures, experiencing another culture, and not just American culture. Because at Valparaiso University, you're going to have lots of other international students you're going to form bonds with, you're going to form friendships with, lasting bonds. And it's good for networking, it's good for growth as an individual, and it really helps develop you.
And even a lot of our professors are from are multinational and from maybe more than one country. You know, they might hold American citizen and Chinese, or American and Turkish. We even have some faculty members from Kenya. So, you know, and definitely a lot of faculty from India. So, you know, our faculty is also very diverse as well. They, you know, a lot of them have been here forever though, but they still have that heritage from the other parts of the world.
Yeah. And as an international student here, that also means that you're going to get a good experience. You're going to have people who understand you, the challenges you face. In the graduate school, we have a lot of experience working with many international students from different backgrounds. It used to be the case that over half of the students in the graduate school were from abroad. So we have a ton of experience working with international students. We understand the unique challenges, the unique stresses, and we do what we can to alleviate the stresses and help you grow and overcome them at Valpo. And that's one of the big reasons too why you would want to pursue education at Valpo. And it's not just about that too. Valpo is a highly ranked university. Regularly when these rankings come out, we find ourselves at the top of the list, especially in the Midwest. So rankings, we have them. It's always great to mention, I think, that we're a highly ranked university in a visa interview, which is where we're going to lead into next. Preparing for your visa interview. Marci, do you want to take the lead here?
Sorry, I was trying to mute. It was
okay.
So there's going to be a lot of questions. And the most important thing you could do, especially look at those links that Andrew posted online. You have to be able to articulate, why did I pick this master's? Why did I pick Valparaiso? Why do I want to work in the United States, or not work? Well, let's be honest, you guys do want to work in the US. That's totally fine to say, as long as you understand how you're going to work in the US. That you'll do internships as part of your bachelor's or master's. You'll work on campus. And if you're doing a STEM degree, science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, that you'll work you are allowed to work for 3 years. You could be 100. And in fact, if you weren't completely honest and said, one of my goals after I graduate is to get a job for a couple of years, they wouldn't believe you in the visa interview. So like I said, be honest, and but just know the steps. One of the things often we get a question on the grad side is, did you take the GRE or GMAT? And the answer is no, because Valpo doesn't require it. Then you explain all the extra stuff Ryan made you do. Like you had to do 2 letters of recommendation. You had to write a statement of purpose. You know, that the point is at Valparaiso, and that's why we ask for all those other documents versus a GRE or GMAT, is we want to know you guys as people. We don't look at you as just a TOEFL number, or even though we do require the TOEFL because that's an immigration requirement, but we don't just look at you guys as a number. We look at you, are you a good fit for our university? Are you a good fit for our program? And are you going to be successful here? And that's our goal, is to help you be successful. So if you get questions about the GRE or GMAT, just feel free and say, hey, Valpo looks at me as a person, and they look beyond that. And I had to do all these extra stuff, which I wish I could have just sent in my GRE. That would have been easier than getting 2 letters of recommendation or a statement of purpose. That they look at me as a person. And you just have to be able to answer in an educated way why. So hopefully most of you guys have gotten an electronic I-20 from Andrew. Or some of you guys might have gotten a DS 2019 if you're a international, or if you're an exchange student. And the things they will ask you, and so the next part of that is to go pay your Sevis fee, so you can make an appointment with your embassy or consulate. It is very hard to get an appointment now. We're owning it. It's hard. But, and I've gone to a million sessions, and I think Andrew's gone to a million sessions about that. If you're within 60 days of your anticipated start date of your program, and you haven't gotten an appointment yet, you've tried, and they're saying, oh, appointments are not available to February, then you guys all can request, and there's information on, I've looked at about 20 different consulate websites. There's information on how to request a emergency interview. And you needing to start school on a certain date and be here on a certain date is a reason to request an emergency. As an international student, I think most of you guys probably have January 20th. Is that the date, Andrew, on their I-20?
Yes.
As an international student, you're allowed to enter the country up to 30 days before arrival. So you can enter the country 30 days before arrival. And with you guys all coming from outside the U.S. with the current COVID cases, we want you to here at least 2 weeks before the first day of class, so you can quarantine on campus or in your dorm or in your apartments. Because, like I said, we want to make sure everyone stays healthy on campus. So first pay your Sevis fee. Make sure you print out your I-20 or DS-29 in color, guys. You might have to go to a little office and get, I only have a black and white printer at home, which I barely ever use. Who prints things anymore, right? But you will have to go find a place and print it in color. That's a requirement. Andrew had to sign it in blue ink, at least for some of them, because that's an immigration requirement. There's all these crazy immigration requirements. So you need to get it in color. And then you need to get your documents in line. Well, after you pay your Sevis fee, you make your appointment. If you, like I said, you're having trouble, contact us and we'll try to give you a little advice. But requesting that emergency appointment is something you can totally do. Or you might have to try another city, another consulate, depending on the rules of your country. And then you will need to take your Sevis, your proof, print out when you pay your Sevis fee, print that out or do a screenshot of it. And they're going to take away your phone when you go into the embassy, by the way. So if you have proof of things on your phone, you will not have your phone. I go to the embassies and consulates all the time overseas, and you check your phone with the security. So you can't say there. So you need to have all your documents organized and prepared for the visa interview. And you'll bring your passport, your Sevis fee, your I-20 or DS-2019, your proof of financial documents, and your admissions letter. Next slide.
The Sevis fee. So sometimes students have a question about some numbers they need to pay that Sevis fee, like their student Sevis ID number or the school number. All of those numbers are on your document, on your I-20 or DS-2019. Of course, you can shoot us. You can send us an email, and we'll answer that for you. But just remember, everything is on your document.
Yeah. So, but feel free, if you're nervous, you want to talk to us before, we want you to be successful. Yeah, this is your first success. Yeah. So feel free to reach out to us. And if you're confused, we'll help you figure that stuff out. So, when I have this thing, I have a lot of my friends are consulate officers. I knew them before they were consulate officers. So they were often giving me tips and stuff like this, but these are often standard questions. Like I said, honesty is the best path. If you picked Valpo because your brother's here, even if he's an American citizen, then be honest and say, hey, my brother lives in Chicago. I want to be close, but not too close. Come on, brothers, or sisters. So be honest. That's the thing. Establish ties to your country. If you already have a job offer after graduation, talk about that. If you own property, you can even talk about after how you plan on doing OPT, which is the thing that gives you permission to work after you get your degree. But then you could talk about how you want to use that OPT experience and then come home and get a job with that. You have to show ties to your home country. And it's hard as a 18 to 25-year-old, that's our average age, to show those ties. But you have to talk about it. Sometimes you just need to paint a picture as your ties. Maybe I'm going to work at Amazon in the United States is my dream job. And then, hey, there's tons of jobs with Amazon in India. Or maybe I want to work in Nigeria in the oil industry, and so maybe I'll go work in Texas for a couple of years after I get my degree and then come back to Nigeria and work in the oil industry. Paint a picture for that consular office. Now, the thing you guys should know is this is going to go so quick. Most interviews are less than 2 minutes. They're really, really, really quick because they're getting as many people as they can and thing. Show them that you know English. Practice maybe with your little brother or your sister and say, hey, let's ask each other questions and speak for yourself. It's your individual story. You have to come up with your own story. That's why I said, go look at Andrew's stuff about those interviews. Go watch YouTube videos about campus. Use the example. What has Andrew, Ryan, and I have said today that makes you inspired to attend Valparaiso? So you guys have to be able to speak for yourself and tell your own unique story. you have to be brief. I have done visa practice interviews, and the guy answered, I've done practice interviews with students. I usually only do it after they fail the first time because there's so many of you guys. But I had a student who had a great answer, but it took him like 10 minutes, 5 minutes to answer one question. You need to be, remember, this is a very short interview. You need to be brief and concise. Why this? Why are you doing this? So you have to be able to think of that. You could write something out and it could be longer, and then you have to go, okay, how do I make this half the time? You have to be brief and concise because you might never even get to answer all your questions. And why your major? You know, for our master's in IT, we don't require a bachelor's in IT. That's one of the things we designed our program for. Why are you doing international economics and finance? Oh, it's a STEM degree. You know, so know why you picked your major. And if you need to talk to a professor or email with the professor and say, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about the major? That's totally legit. Make sure, like, once again, you have your supporting documents, employment, you know, no employment. We are 1 hour from Chicago. And in fact, a good part of Valparaiso goes into the city every day for a job and commutes. We really are a suburb of Chicago, which is the third largest city in the United States. There are 1 million companies based here. And so know why you picked Valparaiso, know why you picked this area. Like, I used to rent a 3-bedroom apartment for $1,000. So you got roommates, very low cost of living if you're a graduate student. If you have dependents, or if you have a wife or a husband or kids that are staying at home, then talk about that. That helps you show ties. And this is a really big thing. How will you pay for your studying? I can't tell you how many people can't answer this question. Even as adults, they can't answer it. Or even as a student, they have trouble answering this. Saying my parents are paying is not enough. You have to explain, then you have to go into it. My parents have been saving. They have this job. I've been working for 5 years. I've saved the money. I've taken out a loan, and I know I'll get a good job with OPT and I'll be able to pay that back. You need to be able to get into details. And I know this is very uncomfortable for many international students to talk about their personal finances. But one of the things you have to do, you have to show your ties to home. You have to show that you're a legitimate student. So make sure you understand the program. And you have to show at least 1 year proof of funds to study. And you have to, this is your chance. And I'll tell you what, a lot of embassies and consulates don't believe the bank statements anymore. So you have to explain where that money's coming from in a verbal narrative thing. You can't just show them the bank statement. They don't believe, they think, half time they think they're fake. I don't know if they are. I hope they're not, but a lot's what their job is, to be suspicious in your visa interview. And like I said, be honest that you plan on working after you graduate. You're allowed to. If you're doing a STEM degree, you're allowed to work for 3 years. If you're doing like a business degree or a master's in ESL, you're allowed to work for 1 year. So be honest and talk about that. That's okay. Then you have to talk about, I'm doing 3 years of work, and then I plan to return to Bangladesh, whatever, and do this. They want that story. They want you to paint that picture for them.
Yeah, I think just to remember the overall purpose of the F1 or the J1 visa. So, you know, plans change over time, right? I mean, you know, students who come as students, sometimes they will, you know, have their plans change, you know, 3 or 4 years down the road. That's fine. But right now, the purpose of the F1 visa is to come to study, get experience, and return to your home country. So again, plans change. That's totally fine. But right now, for the purpose of your visa interview, the plan is to study, get experience, and return.
That's what a very important point Andrew is pointing out. Your student and visa is a non-immigrant visa. Let's all say that. Even if you say it to yourself, this is a non-immigrant visa. So, hey, have people gotten H's and then permanent residency? Sure. Are we promising that?
Yeah.
Not by any means.
Plans change, you know, you never know what, I mean, seriously, if you watch those stories that I sent the link to of those alumni, their plans have gone in many directions, and that's fine.
But do not talk about the H. Do not talk about the permanent residency. Don't talk about finding your future love who's American. Non-immigrant visa. My intention is to return to home. Bola loves me.
That's right. So
just really remember, seriously, I'm just trying to make you successful in the visa interview. I'm not teaching you to lie, because like I said, the first thing I said was be honest. This is your plans right now, right? Non-immigrant visa. And you, like I said, you could work for a couple of years afterwards. And then how am I going to take that experience and use it at home?
That's right.
Has a Prime Amazon Day shirt on. Yes.
So, there's a couple things there I want to touch on, Marci, specifically. Sure. Regarding that non-immigrant visa thing, I think the most common reason for rejection is that they suspect you have reason to immigrate to the United States, right? So that's kind of their default go-to. They're assuming you want to immigrate, and you have to convince them otherwise. And that's a big part of the visa interview. And like Marci said, super quick. And oftentimes you'll get denied and rejected. So optimism, positivity, these are things you have to have, not just going in, but coming out of it, because you might not get it on your first try. Some students get it several tries in. So that's important to keep in mind. I actually had one of our students who's on this call, I'm not going to point him out, but he's here, and he was very helpful. He sent us in his experience with a recent visa interview and the questions he received. And I'm just going to go through these real quick because I think there's not many of them, and it's going to show you how quick this can be, right? He was asked, where are you going? Why Valparaiso University? Have you traveled outside this country before? What country did you travel to? Who is going to fund your stay? And then here's an interesting question. What is your father's occupation? Because his father was going to fund him, right? So you see what they're trying to do with these interview questions, right? They want to get into the nitty gritty here. They want to kind of probe your answers specifically on that funding question. And that's where it's important to develop a narrative, right? Like Marci was saying, they might make a guess about you based on your father's occupation and then say, no, that's not it. That's not going to fund this education, right? It's expensive to go to the United States and study. So that's where you have to come in with that story, with that narrative. Like, okay, we've been saving up. It's, I have several sponsors. Maybe somebody else is helping me, whatever you need to do to convince the officer.
My parents own their apartment. They have this side business. So you have to be able to explain that. And it's okay to have more than one sponsor. You got your whole family behind you. Excellent. They'll believe that that you're all working for this common goal.
But don't, underestimate these questions either, too. I mean, just the simple question, where are you going? And we've had students before go to their interviews, and, it's hard for them to pick out Valparaiso on a map. So you want to be very familiar with that. You want to know it's Valparaiso University in Valparaiso, Indiana. It's an hour from Chicago. It's right in the Midwest. Why the university? We covered that earlier. We're giving you lots of reasons here as far as why Valpo. Went through that whole slide. We talked a bit about different things. You want to make sure you have that ties to the program. That's very important. You want to explain the program, how it's going to help you.
And you don't need to know the name of every professor in the program.
Okay? No.
Everyone's like, can you send me the name of all the professors? Who's going to be? They don't care about that. They want to know what the courses are. They want to know how that courses relate to your life goals. That's what they want.
Yeah. It's like, hey, you're working as a software engineer in your country. Currently, you want to go to America for education because you know that America is on the bleeding edge of technology, and that's going to help you advance in your career at home. It's going to be essential to you, getting promotions and the like. Those are very good reasons to study abroad. That's why a lot of our students do study abroad. It's not just about, coming to America or working in the country, right? It's advancing themselves and growing personally. So these are just some of the tips. And like Marci said, super fast. You might not get it on the first try, but stay optimistic, stay with it. If you don't make it first, try to reschedule again and then get in. And I'm serious here. We've had students who've deferred 3-4 semesters. So, they were admitted in like 2018. They weren't able to get here until 2020. And they were just committed. So even though they've been rejected time and again, they tried and tried. And eventually they made it. So keep that optimism up. That's going to be very important.
For the least for the IT program, there is that option online.
That is right. If you can't make it, you can always study at home. In the IT program, it's an all online experience, and you'll get a good primer. You can get a certificate from it. But we know you want to make it to campus. We know you want the on-campus experience, the opportunities that gives with you. And if you start at home, we're going to help you every step of the way we can.
And that shows you're a legitimate student to even come later.
That's right.
So let me point out, before Andrew talks about some of these things, let's point out some of this stuff on the thing. So that we are a Christian university, but we don't make anyone be Christian. I'm not Christian. I'm and I'm Jewish. So you do not have to be Christian. We don't force you to go to church. We don't force religion on you. If you want to, I sometimes go to Christmas stuff as a cultural experience. So we don't push Christianity on you. But that is our big church there in the middle there. And we sometimes use it for big fun things like graduation and the start of school and things like that. The building up to the left, so we're behind the 2021, there we go. That's our art building. We do have an art gallery on campus. As Ryan mentioned, we do our TED Talks in there. You guys can participate in a TED Talk on campus. The building to the left of Spring is our Neal Science Center. We even have an anatomy lab in there. Going over to our right, the far right there, next to that big parking lot, lower far right, that's where Ryan's office is and the grad office is. We have a really cool biochemistry program, only undergrad program is the building right behind that. And then a lot of you guys suspect are IT students. And there's more campus that you can't see below the church. If some of you guys are the Masters in International Economics and Finance, that is not on this map. But the building behind the biology and chemistry building is our engineering and computer science building. And it's very state of the art, all technology and stuff like that. So this is only about half the campus in this photo. And then you can also see, we have Target really close to campus and everything else. Andrew, you want to talk about okay, before we move on to arrival, any questions about your visa interview and things like that? You can write your question.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, I want to ask for the service fee, the service fee. How long does it last? As in case you have been rejected, how long does the service fee last?
It shouldn't expire. Now, I don't know if there's like a super long-term expiration after like years or something, but no worries at all for right now. For the next 6 months, year, there's no worries. Is there any final expiration, Marci?
I've seen students use it I know personally students who have used it 2 years later.
Yeah. So no worries right now. The only thing is that if for some reason you can't come in spring and then maybe you come in summer or fall, you should let the grad school know that you will defer your arrival date, and then we will make a new I-20 for you. So make sure you let them know soon and not later after the semester. But if you can't come in that semester, let us know. We'll give you a new I-20.
And if you got you guys I-20, you should be making appointments right now. Like I said, you can always try that emergency appointment.
Yeah.
I think, Lawrence, is that good? You had any other questions, Lawrence?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Wait, Farhan had a question next, I think.
This is Vishnu.
Okay.
Actually, I got my admission letter. So I didn't got my I-20. I have wrote a mail to Jenny Slane, but I haven't replied. Actually, my sister is also pursuing a graduate in Valparaiso in IT group. She will be completing the master's by the May 2021. Even I got the admission letter from the same university. So when can I expect my I-20?
Yeah, so I know that I was working through the I-20s and pretty much cleared everything. So I think maybe Ryan, I don't know, Ryan will connect with you on that. So we usually process the I-20s once they come into our queue, within about a week or so. But sometimes there's some follow-up. So if there is, Ryan connect with you on that. So
yeah, and I would say that if you were recently admitted, like say within the last 2 weeks, I mean, they could still be working on it.
okay.
So it usually takes like how long, Andrew? Between 2 to 3 weeks to get them all out the door. Sometimes faster.
Yeah, there's some various steps in the process. Once they come into my queue, I usually process it in about a week, but sometimes there's some various steps there. So, but the thing is that you did the right thing. If you have a question, send us an email, and that's very easy for us to look up your record and see where it is. So that's the right thing to do.
And one
That's
more
right.
query.
Sure.
So I am presently graduating BTech third year. So I want to attend for the May 2021, that is fall 2021. So if I haven't completed my BTech till that, can I postpone it to the next semester?
So
Yes.
you're asking, do you want to defer your admission to a later semester?
Yes,
You're
yes.
admitted for fall 2021 right now.
Yeah, so definitely connect with Ryan first, right? Connect with the grad school, and
Right.
then they will let us know what to do with the I-20.
And that's why you haven't received your I-20, is because we are working. So we have 3 semesters before you guys, or 2 semesters before you come. So we're right now issuing I-20s for our January 2021 start, and then we even have our May 2021 start. And if I'm looking at the right students, Vishnu, you are not scheduled to come till August 2021. So that's
Yes.
why you have not gotten your I-20.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
but
that.
thanks for letting us know. We will make a note of that too.
Yeah, and if you need to defer your admission, if your studies have been delayed, because some students have reported that their universities are having difficulty issuing certificates, completing their studies because of the COVID situation in their home countries, then just let us know. We're happy to defer your admission. There are no fees associated with it at present because the I-20s are electronic, because we've suspended the deferral fee in the graduate school because of the situation. We know a lot of students have found the need to defer. So just notify us, and preferably as soon as you know that you can't make it to your intended start date. So if you're going to start in January, you want to let us know by January if you intend to defer. So don't wait till February after the fact. You change your mind and say, okay, I think I'm going to defer now. So
Because we will cancel your I-20 if we miss. I think Farhan had a question. Do you want to ask your question, Farhan?
Hello.
Yes.
This is Sanjay Kumar.
Hey.
Yeah.
In order to get a master degree in the Walpo, total how many credits I need to get complete? I hear that it may vary from the university to university. Is it right?
Yes, and it depends by masters.
Yeah.
What
What
master's
program?
are you currently applying to?
MSIT, ma'am.
So IT is a 37 credit program. So you can usually complete it in full-time study within like a year and a half. It can be a very quick program, right? And so that's good for you in a sense. If you're able to study full-time, if you can handle the course load, you can probably get through it pretty quick. But it is a 37 credit program, provided you have no other prerequisite coursework that you're required to complete or anything else.
Yeah. And for one more question, sir, I got the I-20 from the Walpole University. And before that, I got an admission also. But when I'm going through the entire admission letter at the I-20, I didn't know I didn't get how much fee you were charging for the each credit. And in the university, I verified that a hostel accommodation also is there, but I didn't get that information also in the university website.
Okay. So you're asking a question about what are the tuition fees?
It's per each
Sure.
credit and hostel accommodation cost and everything.
Yeah, so check. There's a great certificate of finances form that breaks down the cost of tuition over a year and the expected living expenses. I'll send you an email with more information. I'll give you a breakdown of the tuition and fees, as well as that certificate of finances that'll help you kind of estimate what your housing expenses will be too, because that can vary a little bit. So we wind up providing a projection, an estimate of what it might be. Depending upon your situation, you might be able to find cheaper accommodations, or you might, choose more expensive ones. But anyway, it can vary, but I'll send you some detailed information, Sanjay.
In general, is the tuition out is approximately for the total tuition around 25,000 is the total tuition around in tuition and fees. And I'm going to say for housing, we assume that you're living alone and paying everything by yourself. That is the estimated cost of living. Very few graduate students who live off campus live alone. Very few. So, but
Yes,
we always
fine.
say we don't want you to be short on money and then living on the street. So we estimate high on the grad side.
Yeah.
So just so you know, don't not be like I said, I rented a 3-bedroom house that was $1,000 a month. Utilities probably was another $200 a month. If I had two other roommates, I'd probably be paying less than $500 a month for housing, less, plus food, but for housing, because that's a big advantage is, a 2-bedroom apartment's around $800 to $900. And, hey, if you want to even live in tighter quarters and share a room, you can even get it lower. They do have rules. You can't have 20 people in one apartment, of course. Yeah, I've seen students try to do that. I get that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that because you'll be thrown out. But you might be able to have 4 people sharing a 2-bedroom apartment. And so you can lower your cost like that. But you should estimate at least $500 for housing and utilities a month, probably.
And Farhan mentioned something here. He said he's in Hyderabad, unable to get interview slots for this month. He's getting an error trying to schedule an appointment. I can't speak to what that error might be, but I would just say keep at it, Farhan. Still plenty of time until the start of class in spring. If that's your start date, you got till mid-January, right? So keep at it, keep trying, and see what you can do.
And see if you see anything on the website about emergency appointments. You have to be within the 60 days. And I think we did the math the other day because I'm working with some Chinese students. The 60-day we think is November 20th-ish.
Yeah.
That'll be your 60 days. So you can't find the information now, start preparing all the documents, and you might be able to request a emergency appointment. A lot of things. And I've had students don't go to Hyderabad. I've had students go to Delhi or other places or Chennai. It's sometimes easier to get. Hyderabad is probably the busiest consulate in India. I've been to that office about 20 million times. But so you might want to consider seeing if there's appointments in another consulate. And also 60 days, remember, you can request that emergency appointment. Bola has been trying to ask a question for like the last hour, I think. Did you have a question? I thought it was Bola. Maybe I was wrong. Any other questions before we get on to some more practical stuff?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you continue, sir.
Yes, ma'am. The final question is there. And is there any international airport available near to the Valpo University?
Yeah, Chicago O'Hare, 1 hour. What city are you in?
And
There's direct flights from India, Bangladesh, Nepal.
no, I am from India, ma'am. Hyderabad. Hyderabad to Chicago, direct flights are there.
Yep. So we are about an
Yes.
hour and a half from the Chicago O'Hare Airport.
Yes, around 25 miles, I think, from Walpole University to the Chicago airport. Am I right, ma'am?
Yeah, it's about
74 miles. Trust me.
60,
I have to
70.
claim that all the time.
Okay.
Expensive. 74 miles.
Yeah.
74
If
miles.
you would
Yeah,
like
fine.
public transportation, or if you arrange a couple other people coming in, I saw you guys started a WhatsApp group. You guys can arrange all and share. I've seen a lot of students share a Uber, because the Uber is probably would cost you, if you took an Uber, it'd be around $200, $150 to $200. But if you got 4 of you guys in it, hey, that's not that bad. You can also take the train into the city and then the train and then the bus. I wouldn't do that. Take the train into the city, take the train out here, and then there take a cheaper Uber. Or Andrew might be able to help with pickups. I don't know if they're doing pickups. Are you doing pickups, Andrew?
We probably haven't made the final decision,
Okay.
but it's not something you should plan on.
Okay. I didn't know where we were standing.
Yeah, due to all we
bit.
love to arrange the pickups and all that kind of thing, but due to the COVID situation, there may not be pickups from the university, but definitely ask us questions and we'll give you the best answer we can.
But yeah, Chicago O'Hare, easy airport, 8th largest airport in the world, very easy to get here. We actually have 2 airports. Like, let's say you're flying into New York and then you're connecting. There's also Midway Airport is a little bit, actually, it's probably about, what, 15 miles, 20 miles closer. Yeah. So that's even a closer airport is Midway. It's also international, but doesn't have flights to India. But Chicago O'Hare, 1 million flights. Trust me, I've done it 1 million times. I don't know how many times I've been to India.
So was that Tanya who wanted to ask a question?
Yes, it's me, Tanya. So because of this current situation, I might take classes online from my home country. So if I arrive in summer there, so do I need to register classes for summer also? I can take a break.
The first semester you are in the United States, you have to have, if you're a graduate student, you have to enroll in at least 9 credits. If you're a grad student, undergrad, if you're a bachelor student, 12 credits. If you're a grad student, 9 credits.
I am a graduate student, MS in IT.
Okay, so you could do, if you wanted to just do what we call January semester, we call it spring semester online, that's possible. And then you could decide what you want to, if you want to try to come in the summer. But if you came in the summer to the United States, you would have to do at least 9 credits, or you could even do up to 2 semesters. We don't want you doing more than 2 semesters at home because we want to make sure you get OPT. You need to do 2 semesters, 2 major semesters in the United States to get OPT. So you could do up to 2 semesters at home. But if you want to do fall, if you want to do spring and then take off summer, we're cool with that, right? As long as you stay in your home country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that question is an interesting question. You know, normally if you're a full-time student, if you're in the US in the spring, yes, summer is free. You don't have to take classes. But if you're coming to the US in summer or in spring or in fall, you know, any semester that you're coming, you have to be taking classes that term, full time.
At full time. And for graduate students, it's at least 9 credits.
9 credits.
Right.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have another question. Can I speak?
Yeah.
Okay. So Miss Marci just mentioned that you need that you have to you're only allowed to take 2 semester classes online. That is
right.
For the MSIT, that program has a start and option.
Also. What if in any case, what if you don't pay for that?
Lawrence, we're having a little trouble understanding you.
You might want to type your question, Lawrence.
Yeah, type your question, Lawrence.
Am I clear?
Your connection's not very strong.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me type it.
Sure.
We're happy to answer, but we can't.
Yeah. And while you're working that out, Lawrence, let's quickly go over the arrival dates. So we got here January 20th and 21 for Oip Orientation. Very important. You got to be in the country by that time.
2 weeks.
So that you can check in with them. And 2 weeks in advance of that time, really.
Yeah, so we really ask that you come 2 weeks before January 20th. So that would be January 6th.
Yeah.
So if you still need to be in quarantine on January 20th, you know, we will have online orientation sessions, but we definitely ask you come 2 weeks before that. And then with the with the pre-arrival, I have on my schedule to I'll just send out the first pre-arrival email to the international students, I think next week. And so from that time, I think about every 2 weeks, I will send out 1 pre-arrival email. So about 5 pre-arrival emails. So if you, for some reason, aren't getting that, email me, email Ryan, and we will make sure you're getting it. But starting next week, I'll send out the first one.
Yeah. And we covered this information. You're going to be arriving at O'Hare International Airport. It's about 74 miles from Valpo, so you're going to need to take some transportation, bus, train, Uber, taxi, or some combination thereof. If you ever need help or reminders prior to your arrival about what you should do, just send us an email, get in touch with us. We'll give you some detailed information, so you don't have to memorize this right now, but definitely before you come here, you need to have a plan in place. You don't want to wind up at the airport and not know what to do, because that is going to be scary for you. It's going to be hard to get in touch with us on the spot. We'll try to be as accommodating as possible, but make sure you have your plans before you get here. And then I'm going to just talk briefly about orientation here, and then we'll get to, I think, our Q&A, and we'll cover some questions. But orientation, at the graduate level, you'll have a graduate orientation. We'll talk about our academic policies. We're going to get you oriented to what your expectations are, or what our expectations are of you as a graduate student. It's different from undergrad. That's why you have this whole unique orientation for graduate students. You'll learn more about our resources, the kind of things that will be available to you as a graduate student you'll be calling upon in your studies, and you'll learn about all kinds of other different great things about campus. So orientation, it's a great thing as a graduate student you're expected to attend. OIP, undergrad also have their orientations. If you want to speak about those briefly.
I don't have too much to add. Just, orientation is really important, not just because we give lots of details and lots of information, but it's important because you can connect, you can connect with other students, you can connect with us. And, when you come to a new place, brand new place, I went to China, I went to Japan, many other countries, and, I need information. I need to have connections. So that's why orientation is really, really important, to have those connections when you start.
That's right.
The other really important thing is about orientation and why it's required is we want to keep you in immigration status. And that's one of the biggest things. I mean, yes, we help you connect, and yes, we teach you about how to register for class and all that. But besides being a student, the most important thing is keeping yourself in immigration status and not breaking the rules. Because we don't want to have to terminate you because you delivered a pizza to my house, which happened to me. Working illegally off campus. That's illegal. So we had to terminate that student and send them home. That happened at a different university. But we want to make sure you know the rules to keep you in immigration status and how to navigate the American classroom, which is a little different. I mean, the biggest difference, I think, in the American classroom is, yes, you respect your teacher, of course, but you have that dialogue with that professor. And that's a hard thing for people to understand. So I got Lawrence's question, by the way.
Okay.
He said you mentioned that we could take 2 semesters online and then required on campus. What if a case we still have not got a visa denied after several tries? Can you take gaps? Yes, you can take gaps. And like I said, at the very minimum, if you've done the 2 semesters, you will get a certificate in IT. But yes, you can take a gap. But if you're having trouble after your first visa interview, reach out to Ryan and I, and we can help you practice. We can help you figure out maybe where you're going wrong. And if you're being successful in your classes and you show your professor, or you show that consul officer, look, I'm starting this program due to COVID at home. Here are my grades. I got all A's and B's. That's going to show that you're a real student. You're not sitting in your home in your little room typing away, doing classes in the middle of the night, maybe because, you're not a real student. So that will help you actually show that you're a legitimate student by, we're not saying this is the path everyone should go. You decide what path works for you, but that shows you're a legitimate student. By the way, there's my office. I'm between the little trees in the front there.
You can actually see her in the photo if you just zoom in just enough. Just kidding. So let me see. Touch on a couple of things there Marci talked about, and also address Tanya's question too, because they're both related, right? Mm-hmm. So taking these courses online, in your case, Tanya, you can stay in your home country and just come for the fall semester. And that's probably what I would recommend, right? So if you're not ready, if you don't want to take a course in the summer, just hang in your home country, come in the fall. And this is kind of related to a question I think Lawrence was posing there too about if you take your 2 semesters and we'll give you a certificate. So you will have a credential at the end of those. But you will still be a student of Valparaiso University. You'll still have that course credit in your history. So even if it takes you a long time afterwards, and we'll work with you along the way, you can still come in. If you have to defer your arrival a few semesters, you can still finish your program. So those credits will still be there for you. It's going to be a transcript that you'll have, and you can finish your program. I think at the farthest end on the graduate level, we usually require students to finish programs within 5 years. So, I mean, you have ample time within that window to show up and get on campus and finish it out, I believe. So, and also, I hope this session is helpful enough, but if you'd like, we can arrange one-on-one mock interviews with anybody here. Like if you really want to just get that experience, go over questions, we'll ask you the questions that you would probably encounter, and you get a chance to respond to us. And it'll be a good feedback session. I think you can work on it. And it's a good thing to be doing in general, even if, you don't want to take advantage of a mock interview with us. Definitely practice your responses before you get there. Make sure that you have your answers. Are you flexible enough too with those answers so that if they throw you a curveball, or they change something up on you, it's a question that you didn't expect to see, you have a response ready. So definitely, if anybody here wants to, just reach out to us. Let us know you'd like to have a mock interview session, and one of us is going to be happy to accommodate you.
And also the 2-week thing, if you have to be in the United States for 2 weeks. If you have an uncle in Texas or in New York and you want to go hibernate, do the 2-week quarantine with a relative, that's fine. The requirement is a 2-week quarantine, and you actually have to get it done by the 25th is our goal. Because that's the first class. It'd be nice if you could come to some of the in-person things on the 20th and 21st, but if it's not possible because you're in quarantine, we totally get that. And Andrew is providing the most important sessions online, so you could do it anywhere where you have Wi-Fi. But the most important thing, and so we just want to make sure, and the most important thing is communicating with us. Your plan, yes. You need help, what's going on. Let us help you. We want you to see you on campus, or we want to see you in class if it's not possible to get to campus. I've been working one student here for he tried coming in the fall and he still hasn't made it here. And he's from Europe. So we're still, we work very closely with students, and that's all we care about is you guys and following immigration rules and keeping people safe. So I guess we care about a lot of different things, but those are all things that are around the student. Yeah. So please just make sure you communicate. Any other questions we have for everyone? And one of the emails Andrew definitely sends out is, how do you get to campus, with different options? And that email is always getting updated because before COVID, there was a bus you could just jump on that took you directly to campus. But due to anyone barely flying, that bus is taking a break till things get back to normal. And who knows, by January, that'd probably be too early. Well, by summer, we might be back.
Yeah.
Go Pfizer.
Let's hope. So just reminders for everybody, check your emails, pay close attention to them. If you have any questions, give them to us. Before your visa interview, make sure you have your documents in order. Make sure you have your documents printed out in color. And they should work, even though we're sending you electronic I-20s. The guidance is that those are acceptable at the embassies and such. So if you have any other questions we didn't address today, here are our emails. So just reach out to us. That's for undergrad and grad. And if you have emails for Andrew or OIP too, it's international@valpo.edu is the address you want to email. So we thank you all for attending.
Yeah, it's really great to see all of you here. And, I know that students are getting visas and students are hoping to come. So we are definitely hoping to see you.
Yeah, just an FYI, we have heard from several students who have secured their visas. So if you're having a hard time, trust me, it's still possible. I mean, even if it's not the semester you want, we're going to help you get there.
Thank you, guys.
So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Have a good night where you are. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
See you soon.
Bye. We look forward to seeing you guys
Bye.
at campus.
Okay, thank you to all.
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye. And